Don't get into that, but it was just so frustrating. We lost people because it took so long to get the tools and stuff going.
So as you can see with the red car, they're doing the flop with the roof. You've got members in there. Like I said, we're probably a good 20, 25 minutes, half hour into it. This is on a good scenario. This is perfect conditions in the sun on a football field. No accident is ever the same. With my presentation that I do also, when I was talking about the breathalyzer, there's no way to beat the breathalyzer. The old tricks of the penny under your tongue and all that stuff, it doesn't happen. It's a scientific instrument that's calibrated several times. I've got a slide when I do it. I've got an article about a guy who tried to eat his underwear to beat the breathalyzer. Again, just picture the embarrassment. Imagine being that guy sitting in his jail cell. What'd you do? Oh, I got drunk and drove and I ate my underwear. Seriously, what's his life going to be like in jail? You can see how many actual members, like I said, these volunteers, they leave work, they leave their families to risk their own lives, to risk their lives driving. Remember, that drunk driver, when Peaches was the drunk driver and he killed Patricia, injured the friends, those fire members are coming from their house at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. What are the chances they're going to encounter another drunk? An accident that I had in Argyle, right there on St. James Road, the kid ran the stop sign, went into the ditch. Investigating the accident, Mom and Dad, Memorial Day, they just came back from a parade, they're all upset and everything. They fly down to see if he's okay. I had another deputy come in to help me with traffic right there at that intersection. Dad pulls up to see if his kid's okay, he's drunk. Said, this is way too good. So I talk to him, interview him. I'm doing the accident, so my partner gets the free drunk. He goes away. Mom says, hey, I said, if you got somebody who can tow that out, I'll save you a tow bill. Mom says, okay. She takes off. Did she just drive? She comes back, she's drunk. I arrested the kids, mother and father. Well, I turned it over to the other deputy. We arrested mother and father for driving to the scene of their kid's accident drunk. People just don't think. And like I said, it's a split-second decision. The drunks are out there. With the red car, the driver, they're packaging him. They're putting him in a piece of equipment that stabilizes his back so the spine doesn't move at all to, again, prevent any further injuries. So as they're stabilizing the patient and everything, the sheriff's office will call the funeral home to come pick up the body. Afterwards, which you saw earlier today, they removed the patient from the hood. If they're going to be cutting around her and everything, they're going to remove her. But in real life, that patient's going to be sitting there. It's going to be covered up the patient's going to be covered up in a sheet because it's still a crime scene. This is a crime scene. It's not an accident scene. It's not a crash scene. It's an actual crime scene. And until the investigator's done, that body's going to stay there. The funeral home will come pick up the body and then haul the body off to Glens Falls, Albany Med for an autopsy. The hardest part of my job is notifying family members of a death. Let them know that either one of their relatives, one of their friends has passed away. And I'll be honest with you, it takes me about a good hour. I can go to all the domestic, all the fights, whatever, in a matter of seconds. But to notify somebody that a family member or someone they know and really close to has died takes me about an hour. Mentally, it takes me about 45 minutes. I've got the regular uniform on like Deputy Murphy, so I polish the badge, put the funny looking hat on and all that stuff and try to look as professional as I possibly can. And then I sit there and try to think to myself, how the hell am I going to do this? Now, I'll admit, and none of the AAU boys start laughing, I'll admit a lot of times that I've broken down. Think of yourself sitting there in front of a parent. How do you come out and say your child is just killed? Your relative was just killed. You're not going to see them again. That's the hardest job that I have through the sheriff's office. I've done many, many, many of them. I had to do the notification on Devin Jeski's parents. I went to the father. I knew the father when I used to work Cambridge. And how do you even start off that conversation? When I pull you over, I'll come to you and say, "How you doing, Deputy Sullivan, the Sheriff's Office?" Is that a good comment to open up when I'm going to tell you your kid's dead? How you doing? As you can see, the hearse arrived on the scene. Okay, as you can see, the last patient was just removed from the vehicle. The vehicles don't look anything like they did when we first started. Like I said, I do these programs quite a bit. There's only 2 schools in Washington County that don't have me come. I did Hudson Falls this week. I do Argyle tomorrow. Yesterday I did the Rensselaer High School. Yes, Mr. Dieter, right? I met one of your relatives. When I do these classes, I tell the kids, and some of them will actually do it. Fort Ann, when we do Fort Ann in Hartford, the kid actually gets in the body bag. Now just think about being that kid in that scenario, getting put in a plastic bag that you know what it's for, and zipped up. We zip up the bag right up to their chin. Think about that in your short sleeves or your shorts or whatever, sitting there with that plastic rubbing against you, getting put in the back of the fancy black car, not getting the chance to come out. The next time that bag gets unzipped, you're pretty much in a cooler. So at this time, if we just all be quiet, obviously this is something that's taken really, really seriously. You can see Mr. Garapi, he dresses up a lot fancier than I do, because this is something that, as far as respect for the family, for the deceased, with a good fatal accident with the sheriff's office, with the fire department and stuff, it's going to end up being hours. Like I said, we're probably 30 minutes, 35 minutes into the scenario. The actual investigation is going to take hours and hours and hours. Investigator Hamilton can talk a little later probably about it. With the investigation afterwards, it could take days, could take months of statements, follow-ups. For him to reconstruct this whole accident will take hours. He'll be able to actually tell how fast Peaches was actually going when he struck that vehicle. For this scenario, they're going to cover her up. Like I said, the kid that gets body bag for that scenario is huge. I give that kid a lot of credit. I couldn't do it myself. So, as we sit here, they're covering her up. They're going to throw her in the back of that car, and they're going to drive away from the scene. Because, again, she doesn't get the chance to come back. She won't be in school tomorrow. In this scenario, she better be in school tomorrow. But in reality, she doesn't get that chance to come back.